So normally when I don't have a predetermined video idea in mind, I sit here in silence and sort of try and think about something of value that I can talk to you guys about for 10 minutes or so. And I've been doing that for the last few minutes just now. And as I've been doing that, I've been getting these notifications on my phone from a group chat that I'm in with some of my friends, and they're all talking about deciding what Halloween party they want to go to, and they're sort of discussing which one looks better, and they have a few options, and you have people saying, oh, but we need to decide quickly because tickets are almost running out, and I'm gonna wear this, or what you guys gonna wear, all of that. And it slowly got me thinking about like getting too caught up in things that are fundamentally just a distraction, and how we spend so much of our day-to-day lives doing things that we know we inherently shouldn't really be doing, but we almost can't help doing it because it's so distracting. It's like we can't control ourselves to not do it too much, watching things, scrolling, like having pointless conversations with people, like knowing you should sit down and do work, but instead you're like texting your friends, or like just things that are so easy to get sort of drawn to, and then I sort of started thinking about like why is it that we're constantly distracted? Why are we in this constant state of distraction? Right? Why are we always being pulled away from doing something valuable with our time? And that question got me thinking a little bit, and the first thing that comes to mind is an image called the allegory of the cave. Some of you might have heard of this or have seen this image. It's relatively popular, but I'm gonna try and put a picture of it here so that you can see what it is I'm talking about, and I'm gonna leave it here for a bit while I talk about it. But essentially what this is you're the person sat looking at the drawings on the cave, or the shadows moving on the cave, right? You're the person, and they represent you in a state of distraction. And then you look at why there are those shapes on the wall, and you see that they're being created by someone, right? They're not there because of a trick of the light. They're there purposely, right? They've been put there by someone else. But notice how this person doesn't look the same as you, right? Notice how this person has a different sort of characteristic to them, right? They don't look like an ordinary person like you, right? And then behind them is obviously you breaking free of that sort of distraction and finally realizing that there's so much more to life than just wasting precious time, right? But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I wanted to sort of focus on was the shadowy figure that is sort of putting these images on the wall. Now, my initial thought, and I think most people's initial thought when they look at this photo is, oh yeah, that shadowy figure represents big companies that run the world and are making loads of money off you being distracted, right? Like, companies like Netflix, Instagram, YouTube, ironically, You know, and you can even go further to say like cinemas, sports in general, um, you know, the Olympics, even to an extent, uh, unhealthy, bad, poisonous food. You know, it's there to sort of keep you in a state of like lethargy, low mood, you know, out of shape, brain fog, all these things that food can do to you, right? So you initially you think, right, well, that represents those things, right? But then you think about it some more and you realize that, or at least I realized that, that shadowy figure is actually just, it's you, you know? It represents you. It represents the let's call it the dark side of you, that doesn't care about being lazy, and doesn't care about being out of shape, and doesn't care about not having purpose, not being focused, you know, doesn't care about like dreams and goals, right? Because in a way, like, you are aware that you're aware when you're distracted. Like, you know you're doing something that's not really good for you. Like, you know, like every time you skip the gym and sit at home and watch TV, like, you know, like, I shouldn't be doing this, but you do it anyway, right? Or like every time you eat something that you shouldn't, you know you shouldn't be doing that. And it's sort of interesting to think about it like that, because we've always had the power to do exactly what we want to do. Like, we've always had the ability to live our day exactly how we want it to, right? There's virtually nothing stopping us. And I'm not saying that the majority of the modern world isn't built to keep you distracted, because it is, right? But that doesn't mean we can't choose to not be distracted. Hence why you have the people on the other side, behind those shadowy figures, climbing out of the cave and realizing that life is like, life can be whatever you want it to be, you know? Like, you're only stuck in the cave because you want to be stuck in the cave, right? Like, you know that you're distracting yourself. You know you're not spending your time wisely. You know you're not training hard enough. You know you're not eating enough of the right things. You know you're spending too much time with the wrong people. You know that deep down. And as much as you lie to yourself and say that it's not affecting you that much, you know it is, right? So the people in the allegory of the cave that are glued to the cave sort of figures that on the walls, they know that what they're looking at, they shouldn't be looking at, but they're choosing to look at it, right? Because that's what you're doing at the end of the day. When you're distracted, you are choosing to be distracted, because you've always got the power to stop. You can always say, actually, you know what, I'm gonna attack my day with everything I've got, and I'm gonna go for what I want to achieve every second of the day. I'm not gonna waste a single moment. A moth is attracted to my ring light. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, you know, like, look at the allegory of the cave. Really, truly look at it and try to understand it as best as you can. And you'll understand that at the end of the day, it's always been you distracting yourself. It's never been you not being able to control yourself and then end up being distracted, right? And when you accept that, you realize that a lot needs to change. At least for me, for a long time. You know, I was doing so much with my day that was not benefiting me in any way. You know, I was spending so much time on my phone. I was spending so much time with the wrong people. I was spending so much time not caring about my diet, not caring about training. You know, it's all down to you. Like, how badly do you really want it?